Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. For the past few days, we have been trying to go through the last 18 slokas, chapter number 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord tries to bring out the characteristics of a man of steady wisdom. It is not for Arjuna alone. On our behalf, Arjuna raised this question to Lord, and the indwelling reality is answering to us. When we go through these slokas, we try to put ourselves in the place of Arjuna, and the Kurukshetra that is going on in our mind. There are so many challenges, so many duties, so many commitments that has to be performed, that has to be met with, that has to be honored. At the same time, we know our deficiency, our weaknesses, our craving. But in order that I try, only when I know about the other side, I will try to become that. First idealize, and then when we hear these slokas, and whatever it touches and kindles in us, we try to refine ourselves so that we become a person of steady wisdom, not oscillating, not vacillating, not unsteady. If anybody says something, we will not get upset. God is testing us. God is testing us. And we keep on hammering. We will just read out the slokas we have covered. Prajahadi yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyev atmana tushtaha stita prajna sarvajati. When one completely casts away, O Partha, all the desires of the mind, satisfied in the self, alone by the self, then he or she is said to be one of steady wisdom. In this stanza we found what is expected of us is to realize the fullness. So we don't need anything. Desire is to bring something by which we become complete. Our cravings or desires are nothing but such are the factors which we feel will make us complete. So when we know we are complete by ourselves, we don't require anything at all, whether it comes or goes. Atmanyeva Atmanatustaha. This is a very important point. If this is met with, we need not even study anything. We are always full. Nothing else is needed. Dukkeshu anudvigamana, sukheshu vikapaspraha, vida raga bhaya krodha, sithadir muniruchate. One whose mind is not shaken by adversity, who does not hanker after happiness, who has become free from blind attachment, fear and anger, is indeed a muni or a sage of steady wisdom. The second point. Unless a situation where normally it evokes dukkha, emotions of sorrow, emotions of, and unless something else comes by which emotions of elation. In both, suppose we are in a position to maintain. Initially it will not. So there is a level called dukkha and sukha. So naturally it will have its own reaction, impact on us. But later on, by spiritually advancing, and when we are totally free from attachment, fear and anger. Attachment to a particular object. That means what? If we keep on trying to analyze ourselves, each other, with reference to our own life. Otherwise, it will not help. We have to go back to our own life and find out. God has been exceptionally great in giving all these experience to all of us. Because we are all His children, He wants us to get ourselves freed from all the clutches, all the bindings which we have put on ourselves. So unless and until a situation is, until and unless I maintain a equanimity, sense of equanimity in both sukha and dukkha, I will not be able to reach the state. Then only everything happens only by His will. So why we put a label? Initially we may put a label because of our habituation. But in the shortest possible time we will be able to pull us up. That's also ordained by Him. To make me to go through, the fine tuning is going on by Him. So I keep on asking. And whenever I am in doubt, I get frustrated, I go to in quest of God, where it has been presented there, not as a tall talk, but as a experience. Every moment He is tested. Every moment He is tested. So dukkha and sukha. And detached. All these things, we get amplification from the text in quest of God. Vida raga bhaya krodha. Then, the sarvatran avisneha tattat prapya shubhashubham navinandati nadveshti tasya prajna parishtha. One who is everywhere unattached to Him, not pleased at receiving good, not vexed at evil, his or her wisdom is steady. The same point is again emphasized. Same point. Repetitive hammering is necessary, otherwise we may forget. That is why Swami Chinmayanandaji said, the super artist, however excellent he may be, still when he is bringing out a caricature, every now and then he comes backward, looks at it, again goes, put a few strokes to make it perfect, to make it perfect, make it perfect. Similarly, though he had explained this, he is not satisfied. So again he brings it out in so many words so that the listener, it gets imprinted on the listener's heart. The first one is easy, suppose it goes on the surface level. Again when it is repeated, he will ask, why you have already told him? So, yeah, sarvatran abhisneham, tatat prapya shubhashubam, navinandati nadveshti, tasya prajna pratishtha. Yada samharade chayam, urmanganivat sarvashaha, indriyan indriyartebhyaha, tasya prajna pratishtha. When also like the tortoise drawing its limbs, one can completely withdraw the senses from their sense objects. His or her wisdom becomes steady. Whenever the tortoise feels that it needs protection, immediately it withdraws to its own shell, but nobody can attack it. So similarly, when the sense objects, through my sense organs, tries to enslave me, I must be able to immediately withdraw myself, recede into myself, just like a tortoise. Such a person is a man of steady wisdom. So we are trying to idealize, getting more and more clarity on how to become a man of steady wisdom. First of all, we should be alert. God has given us a wonderful, powerful personality, a powerful vehicle called the mind, thoughts. And while giving, there are two types of mind that is also given to us. One is the higher one and the lower one. Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. Avidya Maya, when it is predominant, we will not be sitting even hearing audio. We will be fully preoccupied with, completely we are under the obligations of sense objects. We are swayed hither and thither by the objects, person, situation. So then, how am I to do? So my higher mind immediately comes and says, don't go. Immediately withdraw, otherwise you will slip away. Mataji used to say, this has been shared in Vishwamatra, that if an ordinary person commits a mistake, Mataji will not mind much. But if a sadhaka commits, she will take him in the class. Why? After so many strenuous efforts he is trying to reach a stage. If he is not alert and if he slips away, it will take again months, years for him to regain that. Because the residue, the vasana, the tendency. Suppose I shout at somebody, I offend somebody, it will not leave me, The other person may forget it. But I will not forget. I will keep on telling, he did like that, he did like this, he told me like this. So actually we are wounded, that we hardly recognize. So that is why Mataji was taking the sadhakas into task. That means the higher mind, if we don't train our higher mind, if we don't pray for the Almighty who has given us to always be guided by the higher mind, we will not be moving towards the goal of spiritual perfection. So beautifully put. We have studied the tortoise. Whenever it senses some trouble outside, it withdraws itself within its shell. Nothing can harm it there. It knows when to withdraw, it knows when to come out. So we have to develop this capacity of the tortoise to withdraw into oneself and later come out of it. So from there we go to Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina Rasavarjam Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Papakate. Another beautiful song. Sense objects fall away from the abstinent person, leaving the longing behind. But even that longing ceases when one realizes the Supreme. So initially when I try to, immediately when we keep on praying, our higher mind wants us and pulls us away from slipping away, but still the vasanas may be there, longing, craving may be there. That we will be able to completely root off when only we remember God into it. So far we are seeing our struggle, our abstinence, our withdrawing. So long as it is there, okay. But the longing has to go, the craving has to go, if the last vestige of that desire has to go, then it is only by taking refuge at the feet of the Lord. Param Drishtva. Only by bringing in that dimension we will be able to cross over. Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina Rasavarjam Rasopyasya Rasam. The still Rasam will be Param Drishtva Navartate. And then we move to Yatato Hyapi Kaunteya Purushasya Vipashyataha Indriyani Pramadhini Haranti Prasabhammana. The turbulent senses, O son of Kunti, do violently snatch away the mind of even a wise man who is striving after perfection. This is one more warning given to us. Because this is the inner conflict every one of us must be facing, knowingly or unknowingly. When we come within the influence of a spiritual preceptor, when he makes us to bring in all these, we find the inner struggle. To live up to that is the biggest struggle. And there is every likelihood we may slip away. If our hold on to him is not that firm. Because this is turbulence. Turbulence. Yatato Hyapi Kaunteya Purushasya Vipashyataha. Even people who have advanced to a certain extent. For all practical purposes, they are free from all these temptations. They don't crave for this or that. They have nothing to acquire. They feel they have nothing to acquire. Okay, everything we are analyzing. We have any desire? No. Everything is okay. Apparently we may be thinking that we are moving towards the present. Immediately somebody says something which we have not thought of. Immediately we shout. Immediately the mind comes and justifies, We immediately forget that it is God who is testing us. That's why he says, the turbulent senses, O son of Kunti, do violently snatch away the mind of even a wise person who is striving after perfection. Yeah, we all remember the simple words of Mahatma. Ultimately, we have to become zero. Spirituality means not to become something. Ultimately, we have to become zero. So, if the vestige of me and mine is there, how can it go? Only by rubbing and scrubbing, Nowadays, probably people may not be washing their clothes. They're putting it in the wash. Washing machine. But when we were previously, suppose we go and work in the field, there will be 6 stains, which are normally, we apply soap and then we do this and again we wash, again we see that what do we do? Again we apply soap. Again we do that. And finally, suppose it is a rough surface, you do like this, rubbing and scratching. It is painful for the cloth, no doubt. It may be torn off. Many times it gets torn off. It gets torn off. So the idea is here, the stain. Immediately we become aware of the stain. And then, so the moment, suppose we are taking coffee. One slip of a moment of absent-minded. Something that it falls on your shirt. Suppose it is a white shirt. You may immediately brush it. But next day when you go for washing, you will find that the stain is still there. Coffee stain is not that easy. Immediately we have to go in. So here he says, Yatatoshapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha. Even a man who has reached, who has controlled, so it's a warning for all of us. None of us should delude ourselves that we have reached that point, where nothing can affect us. We have to be alert. Indriyani pramadini. Turbulent pramadini, because of its pramada, because of its turbulent nature. It takes us away. Do violently snatch away the mind. And then there is reach one more. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asit makparaha pashohi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtha. The steadfast, having controlled them all, sits focused on me as the Supreme. His or her wisdom is steady, whose senses are under control. Under any provocative circumstances, it remains cool, it remains unaffected, untouched. You would not have reached, but we keep on educating our mind, This is the goal we have to reach. I want to become a man of steady wisdom. Not to be tossed away hither and thither. I must be able to. All my spiritual discipline should enable me to reach that stage. I want that determination of fixed resolve. And pray to Him, give me. By myself I cannot do that. If it was possible, I would have done it, no. Unless you make me aware that you are putting me, you are giving me the test, I may slip away. So that is what samyam, that's the control. Some self-denial is a must. But self-denial, only for self-denial, it will not help also. We have heard, in Purana, Rakshasas, they were also doing penance, self-denial. We have heard for years together, standing on one leg, forgoing everything. They did for Sarvasya. But no. Unless and until we do all these self-denial for the sake of remembering Him, to become submissive, to feel subservience to, that's all. Otherwise again ego gets boosted up. So Asuric forces also try to do this in our mind. Asuric forces also tempt us to take to inward journey and krodha. But in that process what happens? It gets stopped up. So Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asida vakkaraha. The steadfast, having controlled them all, sits focused on me, the Supreme as the Supreme. His wisdom is steady, whose senses are under control. Now what will happen if we don't do that? They decline, no? Beautiful. The truth of the Gita is going to say in verses 64 and 67, two wonderful verses. Okay. He says, this is how we have to deal with the sensory system. He says, this is how we have to deal with the sensory system. We don't know how to deal with it. There is every chance. Underline this, There is every chance of our falling down and down, and becoming completely lost. And it does not happen quickly. Step by step, slowly we slide down. The sliding down is an interesting experience in human life. If you keep a car on a slightly inclined road, the car will start moving down gently if you have not applied the brake. Later on it accelerates, develops high speed, gets destroyed. Similarly, in the human system, there is this tendency to go downwards. The Gita is going to handle that subject in the next two verses. They are very famous verses. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangatteshu Prajayate Sangat Samjayate Kamaha Kamakrodha Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammoha Smriti Vigramaha Smriti Bramshat Buddhinasho Buddhinasha Pranashyati. The sliding down, step by step, step by step. How to, from anger, thinking of sense objects, attachment to them is formed. Dhyayato Vishayan. We keep on thinking about the sense objects. Then what happens? Attachment develops. When we keep on thinking about, the same sense objects, there develops an attachment. And from that attachment, desire to possess. And then, from this longing, anger comes. And from anger comes delusion. Confused. And from delusion, loss of memory. And from loss of memory, from the ruin of discriminative power. And from the ruin of discrimination, the person perishes. Buddhinasha Pranashyati. The wonderful discriminative faculty has been given to us by him. Because when you are dealing with men and matter, at every moment this has to be exercised. How do we fall down? Suppose you visit a prison. You find a young person there who has been arrested and put into the prison. What had the person done? He or she stole something from a shop. That is all. Now study how the person developed this tendency to steal. How he or she finally landed up in the jail. You will find these verses giving the answer. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. When you go on thinking over and over again about the sensory objects, and finding them very attractive, then what happens? Sangatteshu Prajayate. Mind develops an attachment for them. I like it. First I am only seeing it. then I have already got glued to it, attached to it. Then what happened? Sangha sanjayate kama. I must possess it. Enjoy. Indulge. That desire begins to come through that attachment. So first observing a thing, dwelling on it for a long, then drawn by it, then the desire to possess. And if people obstruct it, kama krodho avijayati. Anger will come from desire. Anger will come from desire. If anybody obstructs my getting to it, but then what happens? Krodha bhavati sammoha. When krodha or anger comes, sammoha, delusion comes. Immediately it occupies your mind space. I am right, you are wrong. That is fully writ large. And you forget your surroundings, forget your own individuality, your family background. Everything is forgotten in that state. That is why in psychology it is said, an angry man or woman is mad at the time of his or her anger. Temporary madness is called anger. Temporary madness is called anger. You lose all bearings at that.
It may not long. It is temporary madness.
Then what happens? Krodha bhavati sammoha. From that anger you develop delusion. Sammoha. You have no clear thinking after that. Everything is confused. That is the nature of the mind at that time. Can't see what is what. Then sammoha smriti vibramaha. Through the sammoha you lose your memory. Who are you? What are you? What is your background? That you are coming from a good family, all that is forgotten. And so you are now ready to do the evil act at that time. All weakening has taken place, just like when the body is weakened by various diseases, then it can invite all the toxins from outside. It invites them and the body becomes full of evil. Similarly also the mind. So this way we finally go down. Krodha bhavati sammohan. Sammoha smriti vibramaha. Smriti vibramsha buddhinasho. When the smriti goes away, memory of our environment, our identity, etc., then buddhinasha. That discriminative faculty, that reasoning faculty, which alone can tell you what to do and what not to do, completely goes away. Then what happens? Buddhinasha pranashyati. You just perish from buddhinasha. The step by step you go down. Ayato vishayan pumsa sangaptesho vajayate sangha sanjayate kama kama krodha vijayate krodha bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vibramaha smriti vibramsha buddhinasho buddhinasha pranasya. We must know this nature of the mind. Then we can fight against it, build up a more healthy and stable personality. So these two verses tell how even good people do evil things and suffer various maladies thereafter. In the newspaper, I often used to read while travelling abroad of thefts in super bazaars. In many countries, in India also we started them now. You can just go in, pick up something, bring it to the counter, pay for it and go away. Some people also steal in super bazaars. In America, friends told me that about 10% of things are stolen. But it being more costly to protect this 10%, they decided to overlook this 10%. Now somebody enters, a decent person, sometimes a diplomat's relative, who finds something very attractive and quietly puts it in his or her bag. Sometimes they are caught, and then you can imagine the sorrow for the loss of all that high status. All such situations are revealed by these few slokas. It is good to know these evil possibilities so that we take adequate precaution, strengthen our discriminative faculty, never allow it to be eroded by the energy coming from the sensory system. The sensory system should be controlled by the buddhi. Buddhi should not be controlled by the sensory system. A charioteer should not be controlled by the horses. Horses must be controlled by the charioteer. That is the language of the Upanishad. And so after these two verses, you get that word which I referred to. Everyone can parade before them. There have been so many such incidents that have taken place in our life. But by God's grace, at the last moment, He made us aware. What are you doing? What are you talking? What are you thinking? Suddenly, because it is galloping, the mind, one after another, justifying. And that which we will not even dreamt, that we slip into that state. We lose totally our control of ourselves. Only by God's grace. Suddenly from inside, what are you doing? I did not bring anything when I came. You provided everything to me. And then I became ungrateful. I did not remember you. With the freedom you have given me, I forgot you. And I started dealing with the norms which I have put on myself, forgetting you. So as soon as something you are likely to sit down, if we pray. We have read it many a time in this session, but now again it comes to us. The ego born out of me has now become a mighty power, ruling over me relentlessly, and in front of this usurper of my bosom, I am but a slave. To free myself from this great inner tyrant, I need now a mighty friend, a powerful and sympathetic friend. And who can it be except you, O my Lord? Save me. Help me, please. And even here, what right have I, the slave of my own passion, the non-believer all these years, to seek your help now? True, I have no face to meet thee. O Lord, I have nothing to offer thee except my own tears. Made each other in same thing. This is the common struggle every sadhaka has in his mind. In spite of so many controls, we still feel. That is why in that made each other burden. He says, how can I come and stand before you with this soiled cloth? Sadhaka. Similarly, I have nothing to offer. I have nothing to claim for myself except the fatigue of my indulgence, the stink of my selfish acts, the sweat of my passions, the cost of my attachments. He has summed up the whole thing. Fatigue of my indulgence. I indulge in so many things and I get fatigued, tired. I lose all my resources. all my bank balance. The inner bank balance I have lost, capacity to think, capacity to lose. So the fatigue of my indulgence, the stink of my selfish acts. I always think in terms of me and mine only. The set of my passions, really, the cause of my attachment. In fact, I don't deserve to be saved. Yet, Lord, beaten out completely, exhausted thoroughly, repentant fully, helpless wholly. Only at this stage I will surrender. Nothing for me to hold on. Beaten out completely. I think a melody. Exhausted thoroughly. Still I was finding I will find my own answers, remedies. That also gone. Then I realized, repentant, I shouldn't have thought. I shouldn't have spoken like that. Exhausted thoroughly. I surrender myself to Thee, and Thy grace. And suddenly, I become aware. I am His child. I am the heir apparent. Sunvandu Vishwe Amrata. I am the I am the inheritor. I have a share. He says, I claim a hearing and expect help from Thee. Amen. Are not Thou the ocean of Kripa, of grace, of kindness, of love? Won't Thou, in Thy kindness, take pity on me and once more destroy the old enemy, Mura in my bosom, the bundle of my old wretched vasanas? So this type of prayer, during our sattvic moments like this, suppose when we pray, when we dwell upon it, when we are sliding down, it will definitely help us. I am sliding down because of the leftover of my vasanas inside, which I was thinking that I had got over. But suddenly it comes up to the surface and pulls and enslaves me. But while I am sliding, if we do that, during the moment when we are, when we can absorb, when we can assimilate, what are we to remember? He is there to protect me, to guide me. Because I am His child. I owe everything to Him. I have come from Him only. And He has the responsibility to protect me. I may be a foolish child, but my parents will never put a foolish child and allow me to suffer. They may give me a couple of beatings or show their anger towards me. They may punish me in different ways, but they will not let me out. These things. So we must know this nature of mind, that we can fight against it, build up a more healthy and stable personality. So these two verses tell how even good people do evil things and suffer various maladies thereafter. In the newspapers I often used to read, all such situations are revealed by these few slokas. It is good to know these evil possibilities so that we take adequate precaution, strengthen our discriminative faculty, never allow it to be eroded by the energy coming from the sensory system. Eroded, no? In plantation, when heavy rains come, there will be soil erosion. Surface soil, it contains all that is good and great. not the deep soil. So what we do is we make trenches so that the surface soil, due to heavy rain, they will all go, but they will get deposited in the trenches.
One like
No, on a hilltop. We give them the measurement. It will be 2 feet length, 1 feet depth, 1 feet width. So they will prepare it. And then after the rainy season, 99% of the trenches will be full. Then we ask them to put it back so that the erosion is arrested. Erosion will be there. We cannot prevent it. But the erosion can be arrested and got back. Similarly, here he says, never allow it to be eroded by the energy coming from the sensory system. That erosion should be. So I have to put it back. I do something by which this is arrested. The sensory system should be controlled by the buddhi. Buddhi should not be controlled by the sensory system. The charioteer should not be controlled by the horses. Horses must be controlled by the chariot. That is the language of the Upanishads and the Gita. We have to keep on reading this particular one. Sliding down. Ayato Vishayan Punsa Sangattesho Vadayate Sanga Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Abhyayate Krodhat Bhavati Samoha Samohat Smriti Vibrama Smriti Vrimshat Buddhinashu Buddhinashu. Thinking of sense objects, attachment to them is formed. From attachment rises desire to possess, and from longing anger emerges. From anger comes delusion, and from delusion loss of memory. From loss of memory comes the ruin of discriminative power, and from the ruin of discrimination, the person perishes. Everybody will be now convinced that it is not a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna 5,000 years ago. It is a dialogue between the indwelling reality and we in the sense of individuality. Gently he is warning us. Okay, now you think you are hearing me. Next moment you will forget. When you are in sattvic mood, you may feel thrilled by all these words. After some time, when I give you a test, so keep on thinking about these lines. Whenever I go off the line, I must be able to see which one has affected me. But one thing it is becoming clear, no? Everything stems from what? Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa. Thinking of sense objects. From there it starts. My mind is fully occupied by sense objects. Not given any room for the power which makes me to provide. No? The real owner comes and I don't give him the space. I have stuffed this house with so many of my things. And the real owner comes. I have to give way now. If he has not given, I will not be having this house at all. I become blind to him, deaf to him. It is not simply sliding steps. How do I become vigilant? No? I become vigilant only by thinking about him as much time as possible. Constantly the word we all use, but we can't. As much time as possible. That will slowly put me. That is why he said elsewhere, you remember, 25%, 50%. Whatever is possible, we will try to. 100% steady man of steady wisdom I may not be. But whatever is possible, I will try. So one part of the mind must be striving it. Okay, even when I deal with sense objects, what is it that controls me, from the ultimate sliding down, is that giving space to these thoughts. Did I not warn you that you will be destroyed totally? Immediately you become alert. Pray to him from the bottom of the heart. He will give us some prompting to save us from this fault. Surely, mysteriously he will do, either from outside or from inside. So this 62 and 63, kindly note in your mind. Sloka number 62 and 63 in chapter number 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita clearly portrays the pattern of sliding down and what all the havoc it does, not only to me, to everything else. A simple anecdote that we often used to share because it has touched us very deeply, very simple but very profound. Morning, the person has to go to office, he is holding a managerial position, so many tensions there, he had his bath, dressed up, goes to the dining table, the wife also, she prepares something, the girl, she used to be dropped in the same car to the school, and everything is kept there. Suddenly, out of sleep, from the girl's cup of coffee or something like that, it gets spilled over his white shirt. He immediately shouts. And the whole atmosphere, vitiated. Child started crying. He looked at her wife and said, "You have trained you like this." He immediately goes inside, changes his thing, and he doesn't take his breakfast. He gets into the car, goes to the office. Suddenly he finds he has forgotten the key, main key of the office room, and comes back, again shouts. The whole day, the office also, they get a share of whatever they have got. Total alarm. Even he comes back, it is still boiling. All because of it. And another way of acting. When we pray to God to help us at that time, it is split. Immediately the child says, "Oh, God, don't worry, right." He immediately makes her sick and eat. He goes inside, fully changes, washes his clothes, comes back, drops his child. Attends to us. Same thing. You see this Jayado Vishaya Gulka, Dinasha Pranasha. That's my instruction. In our day in Madras, we have also done all these things. And how the manager was so kind enough to tolerate all our nonsense, made us to think about, then it makes us to realize, not in words, because we get some very loving attitude. He is not justified, he did not say anything. On the contrary, he says he apologized, and then suddenly we remember, what a foolish thing I have done. Then we understand only through that experience, you know that. If you hear the lecture, we will not be able to. So God has to put me in such circumstances. I may fail, but then when I read this, I know I have failed. Otherwise my mind will never say that I have failed. Because I am right and you are wrong. That holds on to me. So at that time I may not. But then you go in accordance. I didn't mean. So then also by His gracious, forget about it. So we remember when we say that how the sliding down goes on. Uddinasha Pranasya. When somebody shows you some photo or something, immediately you get upset. Your object of reverent adoration, it gets shaken. Then luckily God did not allow us to bring it out. There will be something somewhere, Then patiently when we watch, we see nothing wrong anywhere. It is our own delusion that has made us. Somebody got deluded, he has passed on. And because I am deluded, I also continue the same delusion. But when I clear myself, that everything. So here we are reminded again and again and again that the best interpreter of these words is our own experience. Then only it becomes clear to us. This stanza has been there, 5,000 years ago. Everybody read Bhagavad Gita, Everybody enthusiastically organized a Gita chanting session. So what? Simple thing, This is the purpose, this is the purpose, this is the purpose. And when nowadays when somebody says about Gita, we never used to agree that you should study all the 700 and reproduce. Whatever one sloga, there are many slogas with which you will get aligned. You find they are particularly needed for my life. If 700 are needed, 700 nobody will be able to do it. But 10 out of it, 5 out of it, this 5 or 10 will enable me to go deeper into other slogas. Connect ourselves with our own life. Then the interpretation has become complete. Otherwise, somebody's interpretation. Yesterday, we were sharing mass thoughts, She said, we have some idea about God as told by somebody, that's all. We don't have direct experience, So we should be very clear. We have only some concepts given to us by somebody, some text reading, somebody talks something, it gets impressed on us, that's all. But it is all at the surface level. But when we go through when Papa wrote, initially it was difficult for us to understand. He said, you will be able to understand Ramdas's words only through your perfected experience. Otherwise, if you are reading and rereading Papa's words, that's all. Surface level, textual meaning, literary meaning, we may be able to understand and reproduce also like a tape recorder. Copy paste, we use that language. You have a system in computer, copy paste. You first see, this is the one. Again, you block it and then Control C, then here Control V bar. We don't go through that. We don't go through that. But again, suppose we go through, we may find some more light. You would say that we must write with our hand in a piece of paper, then tear it off. Then tally with your experience. Then it stays with you. Tally with your experience. Papa's beautiful expression. You will not be able to understand Ramdas's words fully unless you try to understand it through your perfected experience. So then we understand not only any script, we can understand it only through our own perfected experience, which we are not creating, God creates for us. In His anxiety to fine tune us, to make us His true children, true instruments, He provides us with opportunities. Yes. Brilliant. So many things, every day this is happening in all of our lives. Every day. At that time, do we remember? Do we curse somebody? Do we curse the object? Or fine tuning is going on. Chayado Vishayan Vumsa Sangatyesho Vijayade Sanga Sanjayade Kama Kama Krodho Vijayade Krodhat Bhavati Sammohat Sammohat Smriti Pranshat Buddhinashat Pranashati. This is something on which you have to keep on contemplating and rallying with our own experience and then praying to Him from the bottom of the heart. Practically you have given up this sliding down process, and it is not written, it is not told by you, it is, I have experienced, but I did not realize that I was doing sliding down. I still thought, I had one like this. No. See, for discriminative faculty means what? God has given you so many experiences by which you know what is right and what is wrong. It gets imprinted in your heart. That is the one which says no, yes. When you lost his memory, who is there to guide you? Not the usual memory.
Loss of our real nature.
Loss of real nature. He says before that, Buddhinasho. Buddhi stands for discriminative faculty. The one which says this is right, this is wrong. How do you get this? By reading, by hearing, by contemplating, by experience. And then it gets stamped on your mind. That is the one that puts you on your track. Whenever you are likely to go off the track, it puts you, hey, what are you doing? What are you talking? What are you thinking? That loss of memory. Then I am completely at lost. Nobody is there to guide me, no?
The loss of the right way, the loss of the
creative potential energy. All creativity. Productivity. I suppose I am working in the field. I have put all my inputs. I have done everything. But I don't get the crop. I must analyze, you know. Whereas I meet you another farmer. And he will say, yeah, it's wonderful. You know, the crop is very good. So why is it that I have lost the crop? Then I try to analyze. I ask you, what are the cultural operations you did? What are the ingredients you put? Then you, even, you know, I may request, why don't you go and come and see? Like, what is it that prompts me to do that? No? So this keen observation helps me. Something is wrong, I must educate myself. So this rights and wrongs, this ignorance and wisdom, all these things come from this. He has given us this buddhi. Yesterday he says, I am the intelligence of the intellect. In Sanskrit, I think the words are same, buddhya, buddhivadam. So this intelligence, you know, That is the one keeps me. Otherwise, I become like an animal. Animals don't have this discriminating faculty. A mosquito comes, you ward it off. Suppose again it will come, Its danger it is not being aware. One day he will put like this and I will be pulverized. So like that, though in spite of doing it, my craving will be such that I will lose this memory. But here Buddhinasha means that. It is not normally what we talk about the memory. We lose the memory of the discriminating faculty. And suppose we develop it right from the God makes us to develop it right from the young age, we will find that the slip is very, very limited. Because your parents say for good intentions, you take it with good intention. You don't repeat it. You are likely to, then immediately, Vinobaji used to say that, when at that young age, when he was trying out, when he wanted to go ahead to Sabarmati Ashram, and then he knew he may not be in the mainstream of family. So everybody complained to mother. Youngsters, if they go out, they will, my Vinaya, he will never do that. He says, Vinobaji says, that's the confidence of my mother, belief in me. Right? That kept me.
He will not go astray.
He will not go astray. He will not do anything bad. That remembrance, that remembrance. That puts him on the check. The positive assertion. So let us not try to go back to these things again and again and again and again, so that our slipping down can be reduced and it can be minimized and then it can become nil. There you go. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram.